Good morning, everybody, and that includes people on Twitch today, which is playing. Weird, but now it's not. Okay, good. I'm trying something out, seeing if this split streaming. So, my streaming PC is woefully underpowered, but it was enough to do streaming. So now I'm telling it to not only stream and record like I normally do, but to also stream again to Twitch. Doing a great job despite the setbacks you've had. I don't know if I'd call them setbacks. I call them delays. Setbacks would mean like I got to a certain point, then it failed and I was set back. Well, not so much failed, but like something broke and then set me back. There has been like a few little minor ones here and there, like having to restart a license setup, but not a lot. Put the machine to the test. That is what's happening today. I mean, it's doing okay. 4 megabits a second, 5 megabits a second, 60 FPS. Seems to be doing okay. Kind of want to bring up a task manager, but I know the task manager in Windows 10 was never really the most efficient. So, if it ever needs to struggle, it will struggle a lot. This is about to be about good. Well, here's hoping, Oscar. I mean, I've already... Wait, how long was that? How long's my mic not been working? Did I accidentally press a button? I don't think I pressed a button. Yeah, there's not even anything... Oh, wait. Okay, Mike's back. Game is back. Why did that happen? I have to do a little bit of fiddle. This is not the settings that I have set. What? Audio mixer, mic on, mic auxiliary. Is that what it is? It's yeah, mic aux. So I'm guessing you can hear me now, right? If you can hear me, type 3 in the chat. Anyway, that on, audio mixer, game, on Discord. Good, alright. Yeah, Discord is on. Oh, is that where it's getting... confused? Discord sound. Yeah, that might be where it's getting a little confused. Ah, no, that's fine. Desktop audio. Sure. I wonder if I just go. Now everything should be set right. I think it's just maybe I pressed the wrong button somewhere. All right. Weird one. It just seems that there's unfortunately, a toggle option for muting microphones and stuff, but not a definite set sort of thing. This is like getting through the first few obstacles before the pure work begins. Sure. Technical difficulties. Welcome, C1X. How's it going, bro? Probably in the chat, the longest lasting viewer. Yep, I think you are the longest lasting viewer here, C1X. So, what we're going to try to do today is set up... Actually, let me start that again. Because I have set up a fairly functional license system, we're going to try to do the same thing, except... the same thing as the previous license, where we drive around here and then the corner here is the main crux of what's happening. They're not going to be dive bombing. Instead, we are going to be behind the entire time. This car is going to come around here and then they are going to park it on the apex. So what that means is, as opposed to the dive bomb that they did last time and end up going super wide out here, they're going to come around here and then they're going to slow down even more. So then if you're going for the under and over, they're going to... what would you call it? Oh, yeah, so instead of going wide, they're going to go around here, and instead of allowing you to do an under and over, they're going to stay really nice and slow and on the apex, making it too difficult, and to stuff up your timing for an under and over. Because if you stuff up the timing, because the person in front of you did something you didn't expect for them to park on the apex, then you're going to try to overtake, and then you have to slow down to stay behind them, because you can't really go around the outside at this point, because that's going to scrub off too much speed as well, and then they get to control when to accelerate. Me, I'm doing okay. Brain's a little slow to start up in the morning. The cornering part of the license? Yes. This is more complicated to set up, because we are also setting up AI. Was that a brain fart? Yeah. Yeah, it was. My brain absolutely farted just then. So, we're gonna have to set up 2 AIs for this. I suppose I could also delete this car, but we need to run an AI thing through it. So I'm gonna have to get out my rig at some point. Let's start by making the mission. Oh, my recording stopped. What the hell? What is happening today? Still going? Yeah, it's still going. So, for our license now, we're going... For our next license, what we're going to do is have to set up a new mission for our new license. I'm going to save this for recording because none of that was usable. The previous license that we just finished is all about doing the under and over. The new one is about them parking on the apex and how you deal with people that block too much. Basically, the main part of rail racing is the unexpected. Sure, but people tend to fit into certain patterns. Was that a brain fart? Oh yeah, no, my brain is farting all over this morning. It had just the biggest can of beans. And not the good sort of beans. The sort that just make your brain fart. Or just make you fart, except my brain had them. I wonder how we could implement the new races, like new races, into your mod ourselves. I would love to do that with my GTX car. I mean, I've already talked about this. If you want to add your own license tests or your own races, they're just mods. The races are going to be things like, it's going to be pulling from hill climb sort of stuff. And licenses, the AI ones are probably going to be a little too difficult to have to write out a full system on how that has to work. But if you do a normal one under my mission type for licenses, then it will allow you to just create extra licenses. And everything is all there in one area for you to fill in. And then, if you have the mod done, it's just there. It should just show up. Mods of mods is definitely possible, but it would require a bit of work. It can, yeah. Let's go with... mission editor is what we're going to need, and we're going to have to create a new one. The name for this one is going to be Patience Overtake. And we'll go down to our RC licenses. Lick. Test. This is 14. Then patient overtaking. We're gonna have to put this description in 2 different places because I found that this is problematic. So we're gonna have to copy this as well. I'm gonna copy this to a note. So I can just plop there for now. Well, then they could somehow break patterns. And at the end of each license, they'd basically have a full race. Oh, they could somehow break patterns, and at the end of each license, you'd basically have a full-on race design to show what you've learned. With based cars for each slow, progressive license. What? They could somehow break patterns. And at the end of each license, it'd basically have a full-on race design to show what you've learned. With based cars for each slow, progressive license. I'm not sure what you're saying. I don't think I follow. We're going to need to make a full-on description for this one, so let's set that up. That's the wrong thing. How many? What? Oh, of course. Alright. Patient being... so... in the previous test, we... in the previous test, showed what happens if someone just eagerly takes a corner. But this time, they are smarter and will park on the apex, blocking your path, and diverting around will be too slow. So when faced with an aggressive blocker, you will hang back a little more and aim to overtake them further down the straight. You will hang back a little more and aim to overtake them further down the straight. Oh. Be careful. This driver is dumb and will drive into you if you cross where they want to drive. Okay, now that's just a little bit of a thing there for safety around these AI, because these are path-following AI. Alright, that should do us. I genuinely wonder how in other game they get AI to actually race fast and not being overly slow. You can feel it with very fast cars. So, talking about how you're wondering how the AI are fast in other racing games, a lot of the times, they actually aren't. They're normally not that good. And I remember GranTurismo showed a thing once where they had like an advanced AI, and I get the feeling that it's like GPT trained sort of situation where it's like a generative training process. But those are really heavy to run. If you want a good example of what bad AI looks like, have a look at something like, what is it? Project Cars 2. Yeah, I remember that they had particularly bad AI, because they would have the racing line, and then instead of like properly bunching up and taking up the full racetrack, they would all just kind of go onto the racing line and then just stop, and then you could just bang it down the inside and then just take your normal braking point and avoid hitting cars, and that's what you need to do. There's meant to be a lot of bunching, but they just don't do it properly. So, most AI, not that good in racing games. If you wanted to take it further, you really would have to do some sort of GPT training, or just lots and lots and lots of work on getting the AI to have knowledge on how to take pretty much any type of incident on track, or any sort of, what you would call it, any sort of situation is probably the best way of putting it. Just like, there's so many different things that can happen, and setting up all the AI can be really tricky. And then if you set up too many things for AI, if you set up too many things for the AI, then it starts to become a real load on the system. So AI is tricky to manage as a game developer, and I am not trying to go down that path with this mod. But I may try out doing my own trained GPT model at some point. It's just, you almost have to have a secondary rig to run it. All in all, it would be a license test, but more refined with specific goals. I mean, that's what we're doing. We are doing a more refined version of the in-game licenses. And we are setting up our specific goals. Follow and complete regarding the stuff you learned in the previous part of... That's kind of what we're doing here. But it's not so simple. See, I wanted to teach 2 types of overtaking. Unfortunately... Oh yeah, and I also wanted to teach it on the same corner. So I can't go corner to corner, if that's what you're talking about, because I want to show the same situation 2 different times on the same corner. I've all thought about when he said beam and G, beam and G, beam and G. What? Wait, have they updated the beam and G now? Has a new update dropped? I don't see that I've got an update. Nothing. How do I go? News? What is it? Community Hub? News? No, no update. Oh, you're saying I did like a Beetlejuice thing. Oh, okay, okay, making a joke. Haha, I'm not autistic, I get jokes. I just checked my Steam, and I only have Project Cars 3, so I can't test Project Cars 2. I don't know, maybe it's the same on Project Cars 3, I don't know. Apparently, though, a lot of people were really upset because Project Cars went on a trajectory of simulator, better simulator, and then number 3 was Simcade. Apparently a very good Simcade, but people were like, but no, we wanted another simulator from you guys. You guys were like working towards getting better at simulator stuff, and also let's get on to the fact that they never support their games for more than a year, and their further updates are not fulfilling the promises that they made, but instead just to sell more DLC. I don't trust the person that made Project Cars 2, or the new company that he started to make a new thing as well. Project Cars Wiki. Developer, Slightly Mad Studios. So there was a whole shitstorm about this because they got bought out by Codemasters, and apparently Codemasters are really, really terrible. Did some really shitty things because it was also acquired by Electronic Arts, and we all know that Electronic Arts is one of the worst companies to ever happen to gaming. Sometimes they had some good results, but through a bad way. Like, we got The Sims out of it, which was a very fun game. But, the shitty developer of... The person that was shitty and in charge of Slightly Mad Studios ended up leaving and creating a new company, which I'm guessing is going to do the same shitty things that he did whilst he was in charge of Project Cars 2 and 3. You know, like not fulfilling promises, dropping the game after a few months, and then only releasing DLC stuff after that. Where is the person in charge of it? Wait, they removed Project Cars 2 from sale as well? See, this whole, like, removed from sale as licenses for trucks and cars expired. This is why I think timed licenses should be illegal. Now, that'll make it a little bit more expensive for the game developers to make things, but it'll also bring the price of that down, since that's the only option that game companies can use to get tracks and cars from these companies. I should be able to play my game for as long as I want. I should be able to get my other friends to play, get the game and join me in playing for as long as I want the experience that I am promised when I'm getting into the game, and being promised that you're going to get fucked over in the future. Dick move. Don't make a cheaper product. Make a better product, please. Otherwise, you're a fucking cunt. The only way to do that is to pirate. Yeah, but they've also locked down multiplayer stuff, so it I think it checks to make sure that it's not pirated, so you have to get cracks and all that sort of stuff. It's pretty shitty. They take inspiration from EA? Yeah, very much so. Discarded it from their successful game history. It had the element necessary for other ones to be to get better from. Yeah, but the thing is they could have actually gone somewhere with Project Cars 2. Project Cars 2 was like almost good. They had snap oversteer problems, and multiplayer was not finished. And a lot of... So, they also had, like, some cars that felt really, really nice to drive. But then, like, the other half were very boilerplate, as a word that's being used a lot recently. Very, very boilerplate. Like, there's a Porsche something or other. I can't remember what it was. It's like the one from the 80s that went 200 miles an hour? Or 199, I don't know. Anyway, that one, it's very mid. And not the good way. Not middle, mid. Just make parody brands for all real cars, like, yeah. What topic we're talking about? Just whatever. Wanted to play the crew, downloaded some bad pirated version and got some viruses. Had to reset your PC. Ugh. Though the crew was amazing to play on a wheel. Okay. This is for all that stuff in games. The rough yellowbird? No. The other one. Porsche. 200 miles per hour. 80s. The 959. That one. $197. Okay, well, close enough. This thing in Project Cars 2 is one of the biggest letdowns. It feels incredibly generic. Like it has absolutely no feel or whatever. Oh, is it the first all-wheel drive, is it? Four-wheel drive? Okay. I can't figure out. Bell. That's the one. I think Ian Bell is a shitty person, and I think his new company is also going to be shitty. They may release a mediocre game that does okay, but I think he's so shitty. And he's gonna drop support of the game a couple of months after, not fulfill any of his promises. It's probably going to be a hell of a lot more simcade than arcade, than simulator, because that seems to be what he wants to do, which is okay, but it's not what people wanted from him. And he's also the sort of person that blames everything else, but doesn't like to take accountability for his own choices. So he makes poor decisions, and then comes up with all of these reasons as to why it ended up that way, without actually saying, well, I made a poor decision that put us in a position where this had to happen. He doesn't do that. EA didn't own the game when those licensing deals happened. What's his new company? I'm gonna look up Ian Bell. Oh, Straight 4 Games. Ooh, that's... Sure, that's a choice. Straight 4 Studios. Have they released a game yet? Is there a timeline? Wait, hold on. A new engine for a new generation. Reality refined. So, is he... Also, by the way, showing the high poly count is not necessarily a good thing. I don't think that that's what they're going to be running in the actual game itself. That is going to be terribly inefficient. I think, from that, the only thing I think I can feel is this could go either way. Reality refined means that they're going to try to make it as realistic as possible, or reality refined, which means reality, but refined into a more playable state. So, simcade. I think his first game as, like, the company leader was Need for Speed Shift, which was a decent game, but it was very arcadey. I kinda like simcade, but not nearly as much as I love simulator. If I can recover a balked entry into a corner too easily, I just lose all impetus to actually care. But like a middle ground, I can get on board with. Cerberus B12 was mental, way too crazy. Oh yeah, didn't the owner drive it one night and said, no, just straight up, this is just too much? And also, why are we bringing that up? Fidelity. A new physics platform will achieve ever-increasing realism. Okay, so they are making a simulator. But hopefully they don't lie, like they say with Project Cars 2, when they said that they made, that they fixed the snap oversteer problem that so many simulators deal with, because that car has problems with snap oversteer still, and it's not refined very well. It feels like they got to like a boilerplate level of dealing with snap oversteer, but never actually finished it. By building the physics platform to be modular and extensible from the ground up. So, what that sounds like, by what I know of their previous things, they are making it so each car will have different handling characteristics based upon handling files or tire files, instead of what I think they're trying to make it sound like by using the word ground up is more like BeamNG, but I very much doubt that that's what they're going to do. This enables more advanced models and superior advanced models with superior validation. So, this is making me think that it's not like BeamNG. So, having things validated, I would assume what they mean by that is because one of the things about BeamNG is it is incredibly difficult to make a car in BeamNG handle like a real-life car, because it is like a you know the theory that if you head out into outer space, but if you're 1 degree off, then you're going to be way off? Imagine that, except you're trying to have like a randomly placed a set of rockets behind you, and they all have to fire sequentially, and you have to program that at the beginning, and you can't do it like midway through the race, or sorry, through your flight path to get to the next solar system, and you could be way off, because there's so many different things that so incredibly interact, whereas a predefined system, which is a lot easier for your computer to run, will allow you to get to be exactly like a car. It just won't have the ability to deal with unique situations. Pretty much the biggest, or one of the biggest issues with Project Cars 2 is when you get into outside, when you deviate from the normal situation, whether by your doing or the game just choosing randomly and ends up in that situation, and then all of the cars stack up as opposed to spreading out and bunching up at the corner. There's advantages and disadvantages. Doing it the way the normal simulators do things, where everything is all predefined with how behaviors are, allows you to make a refined experience. BeamNG is a little less good. There's a lot less good on that sense. But that's just because if... there's so much happening in BeamNG. BeamNG's complexity is just really, really fucking super high. So their less systematic complexity, I think, is moving us away from BeamNG, which is fine. I don't love BeamNG for its crash physics. I love it for its dynamic ability. But when it comes to racing, a predefined system is so much better. Alleviated quality? I don't know what that means. And UI-driven flexibility. I hope that that means that they have a better AI system, because their AI previously was pretty garbage. I don't remember the name, but it's basically Project Cars, but broken? Is a game... When I first launched BeamNG, force feedback and pedal input was reversed. Oh, weird. I don't think I've ever had that. It was so funny with the wheel. I mean, you can invert it, but yeah. If the wheel went off the center even by a degree, it would go nuts and spin up like crazy. Yeah, they have gotten a little bit better with their force feedback, and it still really sucks. It would go nuts and spin up like crazy. Are you going to put the game into a new engine? BeamNG? No. So, for all that I don't like about Talk 3D, it does do one... it does allow one particular thing, which is, at the time, when they started making BeamNG, it was the only, like, real, free, open source game engine available. So, they wanted to go for free, and I think that's fine. best choice? I don't know. But it allowed them to really, really, really refine the game engine to do exactly what they wanted to do. I think it was the wrong game engine, but it was the best choice that they had at the time. Because the game was, the engine was set up for, first-person multiplayer shooter games. That's what Talk 3D was. Oh, elevated! I'm so dyslexic. Elevated quality. Why did I think alleviated? Oh, yeah, okay, if I just... Yeah, my brain inserted an I here. That's part dyslexia, part ADHD, part a combination of the two, and part me just being really shit. Anyway. So we're not getting anything similar to a BeamNG. Which is fine. That's not what I was doing. What I'm trying to do is assess what it is that they are trying to say that it'll do. It sounds like... It kind of sounds like it could still run into the same problem that Project Cars 2 had. With a modular system, you can refine each individual aspect and whatnot, but you're going to have to do it for every individual car. But they didn't end up finishing that in Project Cars 2. So if they end up finishing it here, great. But I don't think that they... I don't trust them. They have proven to be untrustworthy. I don't expect this to be a copy of another game. Yeah. Don't put yourself down, man. You're awesome. Me? What? Oh, the reading thing? Yeah, no, I'm just shit at reading. I've accepted that, and I've accepted it for a very long time. Hey, welcome, Andy. Just stopping by briefly again. Welcome, Never. I like your mods. And do you know how I can make that mod to use GPRP26 and BeamNG, if you know? Never's on Twitch, by the way. We got 2 chats up. I have... What do I have? I have a video on JBeaming Basics. So if we just go YouTube... BeamNG modding tutorial. Here we go. This one. Apparently this cluster person has made a video as well. I might ask him if I can have a look at their video on stream, but I don't know who Cluster is. Give me a... I'll have to figure out some way of reaching out to them. Oh, did I mute myself, did I? Oh, fuck. Well, whatever. I was just saying that I couldn't find this cluster person on Discord easily. Or reach out to them later. Maybe check that out? I don't know. If it is better than mine, I'll definitely be suggesting this one. Mine's a lot longer, 53 minutes compared to 3 minutes. Anyway. Intensity will be combined. So, by the way, I'm really excited for this because I actually really like Project Cars 2. It just falls flat way too much, and it doesn't have everything that they promised was going to be in it. I love that your seat looks like it's like, or is a car seat. It is a car seat. I was 130 kilos, and I kept on breaking seats that were rated for 150 or more kilos. So I cracked the shits. I took the top off of one seat that had broken and welded up a bracket and bolted on a car seat to it. Am I still muted? Or is that just old messages? GTR 2? That's a very old one, right? It's like, what, 15 years old? Oh yeah, this is an oldie. 2006, that's 20 years ago. I don't think I ever played it? Or maybe I did, I can't remember. I did play a lot of simulator games. And I do remember playing The Storm. Maybe I played GTR 1. You know what I might be thinking of? I might be thinking of, no, I'm thinking of Toka 2. That's a different game. No, there was a Le Mans game in the mid-2000s. Le Mans Racing Games. Not Le Mans Ultimate, that's the new one, right? Yeah, I've been interested in getting into this. Apparently it was a bit of a weird one when it started, but it got better. Oh, I want that so bad. I want that so bad. I'm not much of an arcade sort of person, but I loved some really old, like, racing ones. iRacing released in 2008 saw the addition of the Le Mans circuit in 2016. Project Cars and Project Cars was included circuit to the south under the project name Leo. Okay. Not grid. What I'm thinking of is LMU is very good. It also feels very nice. Maybe I'll give it a try. Do you plan on making a mod for the BX series? Yeah, it's on the list. It's going to be a super silhouette. One of my former co-workers was a driver for Williams eSport on ACC and LMU. Oh, cool. I liked ACC a lot. I just wish that it got more coverage. I think I played this one. Test Drive Le Mans sounds familiar. Dreamcast, nice. Test Drive Le Mans does sound familiar. Often hailed as the single best driving game available for the Dreamcast system. It's not a high bar. Alright, let's have a look at this. Maybe it was this. 1999? Okay, does sound familiar. Let's have a look for the Test Drive Le Mans. Yeah! Oh, definitely yes. I do remember this. Okay, I don't remember... yes, no, I remember this. And most people start off, once again, with the Marcos or whatever it is. This website is slow. I remember that car in that livery a lot. How does Linux go with running really old Windows games? Because I know that even Windows doesn't like running old Windows games. Melbourne House mentioned? Are they well known? I think AC is probably the most realistic sim out there, but that's partly due to the narrow car selection. A lot of people that play that and iRacing say that iRacing is better. I don't think many people say that ACC is better than iRacing. The only problem is iRacing is a money-grubbing company, and they are despicable in that regard. I hate them so much. Subscription sucks, but sure, it's an ongoing service. But just the amount of money you spend on it is insane. Must take a shit ton of time to create a car if it is the most realistic sim. Super Silhouette race cars are wonderful versions of the on-road cars. What are we talking about? Test Drive Unlimited? I used to drive the Test Drive games. If you're trying to create a realistic, a really good car for a racing game, BeamNG's amount of time, I think, honestly, to try to replicate something and to make it feel really good is a hell of a lot longer than a predefined system. So you're going to be developing a lot longer if you're going to try to do something like BeamNG. But if you're doing something like that other... this thing, this will be a lot quicker to develop for, so you can actually get the game and play the game. I have a children's game that I cannot find for the death of me. You mean for the life of me? Search for hours with ChatGPT. ChatGPT in that sort of regard is probably more likely to return the common answers as opposed to the answer you're actually looking for if it is an obscure one. Maybe put it in chat and see if anybody here can figure out what it is. The guys that drive cars IRL say ASCC is more realistic? Not in my experience. Because anything can happen. I don't fucking care. Oh, no? Okay. James Baldwin came from ACC to Real Life GT World Racing Series and was very successful. The same thing happens with the GranTurismo one, and GranTurismo is not a full simulator. I don't think it has ever been a full simulator. It says ACCs. Like, maybe the earlier ones were a lot more simulator, but they sit in like a, the simulator end of Simcade. It's enough just to feel nice to drive, but not so brutal where you have to be absolutely perfect to be able to get a good time. It says ACC is practically one-to-one, whereas iRacing falls flat on the tire model. Oh, okay. I missed that chat. Welcome, Says, over on Twitch. No, Gran Turismo 1 wasn't a simulator. I said earlier ones, but by simulator, what I meant there was back to the thing that I said earlier. If you can recover a poor entry into a corner, the easier you can recover is it's more like an arcade. But I remember not number 2. Gran Turismo 2 was not a simulator. That was a hell of a lot more arcade, and it was a weird game. But I loved it a lot at the time. That's why I think like BeamNG is pretty good. Like, recovering mid-corner is really difficult, and even then, you can't just recover. You have to be very precise in your throttle control and whatnot. So, yeah, looking back at this game, we will combine the power of the very latest multi-channel audio technology. I'm not much of an audiophile, with the most detailed Sonic vehicle models to bring unprecedented levels of immersion. So, they're going beyond what Fmod does? I don't know much about Fmod, but most people use Fmod, so I get the feeling that they're saying that they're not using Fmod? Excitement and fidelity to the player, the brutality of motorsport is our key focus. Brutal. Oh. So they are moving away from arcade. Okay. That is actually interesting. Hopefully, they don't do what Rensport did. Is it Rensport? Rensport. So, they promised the most realistic and fantastic simulated game. It came out and people went, this feels nothing like real life. You cut your teeth on esports on GT Sport? Okay. I missed that one entirely. The last one that I properly played, I think, was like 5. And then I moved over. What's my distro? It's written in the description. It's, EndeavourOS with KDE Plasma. Not what I would suggest for a beginner, by the way. GT Sport Dim? Another game, but didn't get the sentence itself. What I didn't like about the newer ones, and why I moved away from console gaming, is the requirement for subscriptions and all that sort of stuff. Everything... Consoles has always been competitive financially with computers. But in the last 15 years, it has been a major false economy. And it's only gotten worse as a false economy, like massively, massively worse. You have 700 hours on GT7? I liked GT7 the little bit that I played of it, but wait, no, not 7. Wait, what was the one I did play? Maybe I played Sport, and maybe it was 6 that I skipped. Yeah, I think that's what happened, actually. Because GT7 is the new one, and I haven't played that one. And the reason why I didn't keep playing it, because I didn't want to pay a subscription. Which then means that there's basically nothing to do in the game. Subscriptions are only for online play for me, who doesn't give a fuck about multiplayer. Yeah, but these games are heavily focused towards the multiplayer aspect. And in fact, I have a plan in here to make this have an online component where it'll work with BeamNP. So everyone can set up their own communities, they can set up their own servers and whatnot, and then you can augment it by making it like you say that you join a server, that's about to run a race, it'll have activated on it the career mode. You select the car from your own inventory, which is saved, and you get whatever results you want out of it. It could be exploited, sure, but it's also primarily a single-player experience, so if you're exploiting it for your own detriment? Like, you're ruining your own experience? I don't want to make it too easy to exploit, because then people go, oh, I mean, every single time it gets a little bit difficult, then I just use a cheat. But then people feel deflated about the game, and there has to be a balance between people that want to play a game in a very exploitative way, so then they can... Because some people don't enjoy the struggle, and some people love the struggle, but if you make it too easy to exploit, then the people that are in the middle kind of lose the struggle, and then they only get like half the pleasure out of the game. I'm very much I don't like to exploit games. I love the struggle. Which is why I'm into modding, I suppose. When that's ready for testing, let me know. I have BeamMP server and I love testing your stuff. Oh, that's a future goal. That's not a thing that's happening now. Anyway, let's have a look. Is there anything left in here? Tradition, we also... we've always been inspired by the passion of our community. After all, that's where we started from. Empowering the community has always been our identity. Now we're really excited. Our new engine's capabilities and power. It would be a big step forwards for our community. Oh, for our modding community. They're going to allow modding. Okay, that's different. I feel that they're full of shit. Also, why are they showing a sim racing wheel that's like a blanked out Mozza wheel? Big step forward on modding community and for our sim racing unrelenting drive for maximum authenticity. Yeah, I think they're full of shit. I think they're probably gonna pull a... What's that company called? Who makes Assetto Corsa? Mad Cats. They're gonna pull a Mad Cats. Oh yeah, no, it's gonna allow modding again. It's not gonna be like ACC, and then there's no modding. It's a dick move. The team around... So, if they just went and said that we're going to break mods every update until we get to our final version release, that would be fine. People can go in, they can start having fun. But people will understand that their mods are going to break every single time until there's a version 1. But they just went, oh, nah. If we allow you to do modding now, it's going to break the mods and people are going to get really upset. That's what happened with... What's it called? Bethesda. And pretty much any one of their games. They all did it, but it happened a lot in Starfield. Because the game wasn't ready for release and honestly needed probably another 5 years of baking before it actually got released. But what Mad Cats is hoping that we don't realize is that's because that was due to due to a poor game and poor communication. That's why people were upset with that. But if you just communicate to them, you could start modding now, but we suggest against it because it's going to break every single update, people will be a lot more okay with it. As long as people know that it's going to happen. Then if people don't want to deal with that, they just won't make mods until you got the version 1, which is fine. Don't bullshit people. You don't want modding in your game because you want to sell more DLC. We know Mad Cats, or at least some people do. Kunos Studios, that's the one. Mad Cats. Wait, no, that's the controller maker. Whatever. Oh yeah, I love Dragon Trail. I used to use it to farm credits with Hyper Event. Yeah, some people also like the grind, so they don't mind grinding out the easier thing. I've made that as a thing that's going to be possible. Are you going as far as to making tracks for it too? No, that's way outside of the bounds. But mod maps will work if they have AI races in it. The rawest game release that redeemed itself after has to be No Man's Sky. Rawest game release that redeemed itself after has to be No Man's Sky. Yeah. Except what I don't like about No Man's Sky is the... I'm going to call it boilerplate as well. The boilerplate base building that every base building game seems to want to employ. So, your Subnautica type stuff. I don't like Subnautica base. Yeah. I mean, it looks kind of cool. I like Minecraft a lot more in the regard of having, like, free design. If there was these sorts of things, except more like The Sims, I would really, really love it. But I don't like the attach thing here, have next thing, attach thing here, have next thing, attach thing here, have next thing. It's a little too generic, basic, boilerplate. The first company that did it, sure, fine, great, love it. But then that wasn't the mainstay of their game. And then when No Man's Sky and the Bethesda one did it, it's just, it felt so meh. There's not really much creativity. There's the ability to make functionality for these sorts of things, like in, not so much in this game, because enemies can't get into the base as far as I'm aware, but with other games, you can make strategies with it. So like your Bethesda game, you can set up strategically to stop the infinite wave attack sort of thing that happens, I think. But there's like that's only one aspect of what people liked in base building in, say, games like Minecraft or whatever, or Rust, all those sorts of things, was where you can have the functionality, but you can also be creative if you want to be creative. I have to be 20 minutes in the same race and just drive with the walls? Oh, okay. I want to see some Crew Motorfest style graphic on it. That would work awesome. What? Some cars cost fucking 20 million. And there are quite a lot of them. I am playing GranTurismo or damn Hypixel Skyblock. Anyway. Let's finish off reading this. I don't think they're going to actually have modding. I think this is another one of their lies. Oh, sorry. Promises that they don't fulfill. You're gonna go to sleep? See you, bro. Alright, Andy MB, thanks for being here. Experience. I've raced cars since the 80s, doing everything from Formula cars to GT cars. I've been working on Sims for years, so I'm bringing all my experience to the new generation of racing sims. What is this new generation? I've heard this a few times. There's no such thing. The only, like, new generation that you can do is if you don't do what everybody else has done already. You can't even do something like BeamNG and call it a new generation anymore, because BeamNG and Rings of Rod have done it. There is also no next generation or new generation, because all graphics are done. The only thing you can do, really, because like as I meant to say is, graphics are a solved problem. is probably a way of saying that. So the only thing you could do is increase fidelity, but they're already very high fidelity. You can get closer, but that's not really going to be a new generation. So when companies say things like that, I go, oh, everything you've said is a lie, most likely, or just bluster, or fake, or I don't like Ian Bell. But I liked Project Cars 2 a lot. If only it was like more refined and finished. I used the menu music for the original Grid game to help sleep. Oh, okay. Works like a jump. Hypixel Skyblock is so grindy that it can sometimes take more than 1,000 hours to grind in order to get certain items. Okay, that's a bit much. How many Phil custom cars are going to be? I'm not going to add any, but you can use any mods in it. Wait until you find out what the NG stands for. Yeah, it's next generation, and that's because it really was. They wanted something that felt more realistic and less like a game, so they did that. What I was saying is, you can't do that. Though I've never really played Rigs of Rod. I just know that they wanted to go in a different direction. So they used the, is it open source? Is that what it's called? For, the node beam setup for Rigs of Rods that they created? I don't know. Motorsport, I've never seen a mission statement more geared towards the user experience than this project. Well, that's garbage. Yep, getting more spam phone calls. Love that. Geared towards the user experience. I would have to look at their mission statement, but once again, as I don't trust their promises, I'd say that this could be possible if they lied. Otherwise, I suppose if you're comparing mission statements to other mission statements. Yeah, I feel that this is just pure bluster, and I'm gonna call it. In some way, there is just straight up lying, and bluster is lying. Just to let you know. And I also consider lying through a mission as just lying. It's just a type of lying, obviously, because it's in the name as well. The message to race fans and sim racers is clear. You want real? Come and get it. They have never created a really realistic game. I would say that Project Cars 2 was the closest to, like, GranTurismo 4 and 5 as you could get on PC without, like, obviously pirating and emulating and all that sort of stuff. So, it was never really a full-on simulator. You want to drive faster? We'll show you how. Okay. Maybe. There's no concessions. That's the word. There's no concessions here. They're still talking about the mission statement and not the game itself. So they're either going to make a simulator or not make a I don't know. It's really hard to tell what they're going to do here, because I know what they're like. But they're also talking about all this simulator only and nothing arcade. Just motorsport, pure, simple, buckle up. Oh, Ben Collins! So they're getting Ben Collins, because I know that Ben Collins was a lot to do with Project Cars 2. Or at least did some testing. I don't know how involved he was, but they never really refined their handling perfectly, and especially for all cars, only some cars. Oh no. Latest news. 2024, July 2024. That is getting awfully close to 2 years ago. May, June, July. Yeah, we're a couple of months away from 2 years ago. Media? Giant's engine to power Project Motor Racing. Giant's software game engine to power upcoming Project Motorsport game and developed by Project Motor Racing. I've heard of Project Motor Racing. Who are they again? Oh yeah. Was this one also a bit of a letdown? They were saying that it was going to be like a hardcore simulator, and then when it initially launched, it was weird and a little bit sim-cadey. I can't remember. What was the reviews on this? Is there like reviews? How's Drive Club? I never played Drive Club. I want to keep the mod also as small as possible, limitless, so I'm not going to add any of my own mods. I will maybe make a mod pack that'll allow people to bring in things, which is something that I kind of want to do. BeamNG mod submission rules. Do they still greatly discourage dependencies? Okay, it doesn't look like they discourage dependencies. Your mod must work without the need for any additional step. Just dragging and dropping the zip into the mods folder by clicking the installation button. Okay, or by clicking. Okay, the mod has to respect the correct folder structure, therefore it should work. Therefore it should work by simply dropping it into the mods folder. You have to be the author of the mod and or have permission if you want to use content from other users. You have to use unique zip file and blah blah blah, file names, extension, blah blah, package, username. In general, use unique file path as original file name with prohibit that. Your files will be overwritten one day. Please describe your mod in the overview and include at least 2 images of your mod. 2 images? Oh. Of course, just for those which are taking advantage of adding pictures. Oh, so you don't need to. At least I'll add a brief how to use your mod. Merely use the upload images button to upload your pictures. I don't do that. Mod file names are allowed to, like I copy and paste and it works for me. Like I take a screenshot and paste it in the thing. Mod file names are allowed to, in the following characters. Do not add version number as a file name extension. Yep, that's fine. So they allow capitals now? I remember that being an issue multiple times in their history, especially on Linux, I think. Check beforehand if your mod is dropping error messages in the console. Yeah, that was a mistake that I didn't know. To avoid, you're not allowed to use copyrighted content. Content belongs to other users without permission. You must not override default game data. This is also valid for parts within JVM files, mesh names, DAE objects without that. Do not include unused files in your mod. Do not include README files. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna need README files. Use the overview instead. Reduce the file size. Reduce your file size. The overview instead. What's this overview thing they speak of? Your mod must not contain inappropriate content. That's fine. I accidentally gave somebody something with inappropriate things once. Do not upload multiple simple mods. Please summarize them in a decent way. So this is an issue I have talked about in the past. Try to balance out the amount of mods and file sizes. I feel that that is directed towards me, maybe. Or at least people like me. Please do not copy a whole map and car simply to make a simple detail. That is something I did in the early days that I haven't done in a long time. To not have simply increased file size, try to add modification to existing content. Do not change the zip name when updating your mod. Do not change the zip name. Oh, when updating your mod. Okay. Yep, good. Additional guidelines. The skin texture materials JSON file must be in a subfolder. Oh, I didn't know that. Use the correct file format for your textures. Use DDS textures as is highly recommended. Yep, so it doesn't have to bake when people launch it themselves. Give an unique name to your skins for the subfolder. Global skin to prevent issues of conflicting with other mods. Check this post to learn. Please note that every single mod needs to be reviewed by moderator before becoming public. This may take some time, especially on weekends. Please be patient. Furthermore, please make sure that your mod is up to date and works on the latest version of the game. Yep. Otherwise, moderators encourage using outdated tag or even archive it. Okay. Retain the right to only approve mods with a certain level of quality. That might be targeted at me, I don't know. Mod updates. Yep, that's fine. Version string, summaries. Okay. It doesn't look like they're specifically ruling out dependencies. What I would love for the devs to do, and I might even make a request on the forums for a feature request though. I don't ever get responses on my things from devs anymore because I used to be a lot shittier. Yep, still no responses on any of these things. To allow a subcategory of mods, so if we have a look at the game, we have mods. We have mods manager, repository, automation. I know that they don't want to overclutter, but I would love if there was an option for mod packs. So, where people have found a bunch of mods that work together, and then they can combine them together, maybe have a little bit of something there that does some modification, I don't know. Then, the mod pack goes in there. And then have a system where it goes, known working mod packs, so things that haven't had updates since being made. Tentative mod packs, meaning mods have been updated or the game has been updated, but the mod pack hasn't been updated. And then outdated ones where they know it's at least partially broken. Bro wants to use 9,000 horsepower monsters? Me? No, so what I want to do is I also want to create a bit of a mod pack where it brings in all my super silhouette type race cars. Oh, sorry, silhouette race cars. Like the Group 5 sort of thing. But I don't want to add all of those mods to this mod because it would make this mod entirely ginormous. I would love to be able to set up a whole system where you win those cars specifically, but I can't unless people also download the other mods, or I have to add them to this mod. But if I add all of those things to this mod will be gigabytes big. Off to bed. See you in the morning. Okay. Thank you, Oscar, for being here. Oscram? Oscam. That's how you say it. Okay. Oh, we've also got Old Line Crown Nomixt. AI viewers Streambo.com? What? Is that a advertisement for Streambots? Yep, that is. Alright, how do I... ban. Oh, Twitch. Hell yeah, the Lotus F1 would be a good price cut. I don't know about that. Those old automation builds had their problems, and I didn't know much about modding at the time. Blue advertisements? Yeah. Also, advertising things like Streambots, that's so shitty. So, what are we working on? Mission. We got our mission stuff in here. No preview, no thumbnail. Coordinates. Edit. Hold on. Move. Oh, there we go. Move before there and... Okay, well that's not the one I wanted. I wanted to go... Align with terrain? No, what is it? Down to terrain. That's the wrong... Let's do that. There we go. Now, not that that's going to get used, but it does trigger the spawn at location, like at the end of a race. I found that out. Skill, none. Free roam, no. Start condition, never. Visibility conditions, never. Author, Philman 86. Date, now. A scenario, no. Scenario dev mission, yes. Okay. Vehicle used, provided, difficulty. We don't need a difficulty group ID. This is going to be Pro. So that's a system that we've kind of set up already. No group level or anything like that. Check, check. Good. Mic 1, 2. Mission data. I chose the wrong mission type. Fuck. How do I change that? Mission type. Can I not change the mission type? Oh, here we go. Flow graph. There we go. Yeah, no, that's a mistake. Yeah, we're gonna have to fix that. No, not up. Up one more. Welcome, Jewel. I'm gonna call you Jewel. Later, Phil, I will enjoy seeing the updates on this mod. Oh, yeah, by the way, if people want to see what's happening in my videos, I'm seeing how successful or not successful this is at the moment. My edited daily streams, I realized, could be episodic as well, so they're on Clipman 86. So I've started uploading them. I'm gonna go through and do all the days that I've done already, and this is going to be also basically the full video at the end that I release on my main channel. If this ends up becoming successful enough and people are enjoying it enough, I might start moving it over to my main channel and having the daily, and then the big update where everything gets updated. But yeah, that's a thing that's happening at the moment. Just it's testing it out. I don't know how much I'm going to keep on that channel. Game mode, free mode, career, skill, none, entry fee, never, never. There we go. That's right. That's what we were working on. We're working on... Nope. This. What does it reckon? Gameplay, mission types, licenses. Gameplay, mission types, RC license flow. Now let's go to missions, lick test, 14, overtake here. Now let's edit these. Lick. Name IC licenses. Okay, this is wrong. This is... Wait, hold on. I need the name, so it's going to be this. Oh, wait. No. Alright, we're going to work on that later. This is the one I want to change. Gameplay missions, look test 14. DIR, mission types, no. Mission type, flow graph. Mission type's that. Okay. Flow graph. Is it all lowercase? Is that what that's meant to be? Come on, BeamNG.DRIVE. Mysterious Unknown, how's it going? Ah, yeah, just ranting in the morning, and now we're back at it. Missions, mission screen. I want gameplay, mission types, flow graph, all lowercase, good, okay. Mission type flow graph. What happens to that? No, set it back. I think I have to restart this mission. Do we have... How do I edit this? I think I'm gonna delete this and try again. Dotnoy, welcome! What do you like more in BeamNG, speed or mass? As in, do you find it more fun to be fast and nimble or heavy and floaty? In between. BeamNG isn't great with high-strung cars, but I also don't like overly lethargic cars. So like an in-between, I like. Alright, new mission, let's go again. Patient overtake. Then there. Flow graph, yes. Create mission. Oh shit. I lost that. Oh wait, no, I still have the... Patience. Patient. Overtaking. I think I still have it here. That. Okay. Thank God. Save. Not free roam. Start condition. Never. Never. Now. 4986. Scenario. Definition. Vehicles use. Provided. Difficulty. None. Group ID. Pro. Save. I can't even see. Which way is this meant to be facing? That way. Okay. Local coordinates. What? Why is that not working properly? Weird. Align to terrain. Save. What a good video or live stream of yours could I watch to get insight into how to fix UVs? Fix UVs? I got to make custom parts for the BX, and some of the mesh shows up, but some are invisible. That doesn't sound like a UV problem. Are you using the console to check for errors? Heavy is too boring and too understeer for my liking. Yo, Phil, man, are you going update Bob at point in the new year? Does it need to be updated? For some reason, my 1850 horsepower scintilla is difficult to control. I don't know why. Could be that my wing isn't big and wingy enough. Maybe. BeamNG also doesn't do ground effect. So, yeah. Okay, our mission is set up correctly this time. Really? Why is it here? Fuck. Alright, well, let's delete it and try again. Delete. I keep making mistakes. New mission. Wrong thing. File. New mission. Yep. Lick test. Oh, that's meant to be underscore, isn't it? What is a normal mission ID? Hold on. Does it start with the slash? I think it does, yeah. Alright. 14. Patient there. Flow graph. Create mission. Yep, there we go. It's in there, but for some reason it didn't work. Why did it just... Okay. Lick test. Test. 14. There we go. Alright, it's working now. Patience. Patient overtaking. Alright, then we grab our description. track. Good. Skill, never, no free roam. Never. Me, now, scenario, dev mission. Vehicle, provided. Difficulty, doesn't matter. Group, pro. Save. Mission type data. Good, okay. Boy. I wonder if I can have... Can I have a different mission type data to a mission? Mission type. No, that is mission type. Okay. Fingon put a new engine in Bob. Oh! I thought you meant there was an update to BeamNG that broke it. Nah, I'm gonna keep it as it is. I liked the engine that was in it. Crazy thing is, you can squeeze a full 550 more horsepower out of the Scintilla with nitrous. Sure. Something keeps happening over on Twitch chat, and I don't know what's happening. Like, something glitches in and out. It's irritating. Anyway, now what I want to do, after creating our mission, is basically copy everything from the other file. So we got a flow graph file in here, but this is going to be generic, right? Yeah. Let's grab everything from under and over, and we're going to work on the rest. So we don't want the recording things, I don't think. We can probably keep hours, so that's probably fine. Race will keep. Prefab will keep. Cam path will keep. That, and we'll keep flow graph. Not the enemy recording. We'll have to make a new one of those, and I think... we'll put that here. And overwrite the flow graph. Good. Alright, I'll be back in a bit. Need to go toilet. more than the V8. It's probably because V engines are more energy dense. So maybe there's like a heat thing? Less room for bigger turbos, maybe? Because when they say that V engines are more compact, they mean longitudinally, not width-wise. So I don't know. Alright. We're gonna need another path recorded. And that means I'm gonna need the sim again. It could also be that the engine is just stronger, yeah. Creating flow graph licenses. I'm now going to open up our flow graph. Gameplay, missions, lick test, 14, flow graph. Copy all files that will be the same, but change things in the flow graph file itself. So there's something in here about like ID that we're gonna change. Mission ID. Get license ID. Oh yeah, how did we do the get license ID? License ID. Custom lure. No, this is get from all ground missions, so it does it automatically. Good. Okay, we don't have to worry about that then. And then get. Okay, yeah, we don't have to worry about that. Today I swapped the Hopper 2.5 liter i4 into the BX series, replacing the Ibishu 2.4 i4, and ensured the Hopper's i4 is getting Ibishu DZ. It doesn't need to replace an engine. It can just be a another engine choice. Ensured the Hopper's i4 is getting the Ibishu GTZ turbocharger. Okay, interesting. I personally think this has a better torque curve. Sure. It's entirely possible. But your internals would be different unless you're using the internals from a different thing. Now, is the recording the only thing that I need to change? I think it might be. Could you build old vintage hypercar like the McLaren F1? My soul hurts right now. I have been deeply wounded.
How dare you?
Is it really considered vintage now? Oh, wait, no, vintage is only... No, I'm thinking classic is 25 years old. How old is vintage? Classic vs vintage race car ages. Using classic, antique, and vintage cars? Vintage car... Okay, well that's wrong. Now they're talking about specific things. That's like a century old. Antique, 45 years old. Classic is 20 years old? Okay, normally it's 25. So this is their own definition. I mean, they're all going to be basically their own definitions. It's just, yeah, trying to get a general idea. Like, even calling the McLaren F1 Classic kind of hurts a little bit, but it's a lot less hurtful than saying it's vintage. Classic car is one that's older than 20 years. An antique is 45 years. A vintage car is one between that and that. Okay, yeah. Now, that's true that I've said that it's like a specific year range. Also, why is antique possibly older than vintage? I feel that antique is older than vintage. Yeah, okay. So, I think now that we've figured this out, what do I permaban Dutch Bart for being so offensive? Sorry, not Dutch Bart. Sorry, who was it? Oh, yeah. So do I ban SVJ804 for just being offensive? Like, maybe contact YouTube support staff? Get them completely removed from the internet? I don't know. Antique should be 1850 to 1909. Yeah, I feel that antique should be like, basically that era of like a separate fenders for wheels. Like that sort of era. And back. So what, like 1950s would be at latest? Ford list, Ford car list, Wikipedia. We'll go by Ford because they're like the one to go by, I suppose. That's all modern cars. Oh wait, no, it starts here. Alright, when do they start getting the fenders a part of the body? So nothing until 1931 still. I mean, we're kind of getting there, but the fenders are still like a separate thing for the wheel. And then in the 1939, it looks like they get the first where like the fenders are a part of the bodywork as opposed to a thing to cover the wheels. Even in the 40s, they still had that. I would say that in the 40s here is probably a good point to stem that flow. But even here in England, I would say that England was a bit behind on that particular design regard because they went much later, and they still have it with the Lotus 7 or the Caterhams. 1949 to 51. Okay, so late 40s. I'd say somewhere like pre My mustache is curling upwards and tickling my nose. It's really irritating. It's not doing it now. Good, okay. Pre that, I would probably call antique. I think that that's like a good defining era for antique. And now, it doesn't have to be all cars. I just used Ford as an example. I know that MG did it for much later. But yeah, this sort of like, separate thing is probably where I'd call that. And then vintage, I would say, is more than 25. I thought that classic was 25 years, but apparently not. That's about about to get swatted. 40s at least? Sure. Simple misunderstanding. That was like going in and using the N word. Right. It's not actually. Just saying. It's just a joke. But... Whoops, I meant to say African American. Caterhams are my bae. I love Caterhams as well, yeah. So antique is roughly anything pre-war? That's what I would say. But that's not what a lot of these are saying. A lot of them are saying that antique is like a very specific... Oh, sorry, vintage is a very specific year range, which makes absolutely no goddamn sense why it starts in 1919. But yeah, anyway. Actually, you know what? I want to check out one more thing about this email. We looked at media. They have the newsletter. They do not have the newsletter accessible here. July 16, 2024. That is definitely the last one. That is the last one. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they fired the person in charge of media and they just haven't gotten around to replacing them yet and they're still working, or they just lost interest. Vintage is pre-war? I'd say antique is pre-war. Vintage is like a... I remember in the 2000s calling the 70s vintage. So that was like 30 years ago. Brass era? Edwardian cars? Sure. My profile picture of the Lamborghini is taking a GT7. You can barely see it, it just looks like a white blur with a little bit of grey at the bottom. Antique could be anything before World War I. That's what I consider? Yeah. Maybe it should be year specific. Oh, era specific. So like a... I don't know, I feel that vintage is 70s and before. After that is classic for about 20-ish years. So like modern, classic, vintage, but then like you have to keep adding in extra terms. You'd have to come up with new words. But then we do it like generations for humans, like a Gen X, Gen Y, Millennials, Gen Z or Zoomers, then Gen Alpha. So maybe we could do that for cars, I don't know. To me, there's classic and antiques. Sure. I never really considered there being a vintage selection at all, subsection or whatever. The only term I have heard Edwardian used for is ships. There was that, like the first ever car was the French steam car. Like, this sort of thing. When was this? Built in 1770. Now, I don't know whether it ever actually worked. Did it ever actually drive?
Okay. Self-revealed French Army Captain Gawler was the first to successfully employ a device for converting the reciprocating motion of steam piston into a rotary motion by means of a ratchet engagement.
Oh dear.
A small version of his three-wheeled was made and used in
Oh, okay, so it was used. So the first ever thing that was ever considered a car happened in 1850s, well before motor Benz, but it was a toy car and it was electric. And it was, I believe, 4 wheels, I'm not sure.
It was a massively built tool.
Horse-drawn cart for transporting very heavy equipment such as that. Oh, a Fardio was massively... Okay, then. Full-size version of that was made. Specified to carry 4 tons and over 2 in 1 hour. So, 7 kilometers an hour? It never achieved in practice? Oh, dear. Okay, so it actually... They got it to move, then. 2.5 tons, that's fine. I don't think I've ever seen a video on Wikipedia, but I'm gonna have a look. I'm guessing this is a replica and not the original. Oh! That's how the ratchet system... It basically just pushes down on the thing to spin. So, you may be wondering, well, what about the Benz patent motor wagon? That happened over a century later. The Benz patent motor wagon was the first, and this is the thing that a lot of people will miss, was the first internal combustion car. This is an external combustion where they, and all steam engines are external combustion. Don't need you, thank you very much. How do I... Okay. It does the combustion outside, and then the steam moves in to propel the piston. So that's what an external combustion is. So a jet engine is an internal combustion. It's just not a reciprocating piston. A rotary doesn't have a reciprocating piston, it has a rotating piston. It's also internal combustion. I think a Stirling engine is also technically a external combustion as well. But it's not really combustion. As I faceplant into a barrier. What? Must have been clunky to drive. I think that's an ingenious way to actually propel the wheels, though. As it goes down, it just pushes a ratchet around on the wheel, which then carries inertia. I think that's ingenious. Not the smoothest, because it's going to be like... Wow. It also allows you to coast. Huh. That's really cool. Also, a lot of people like to ignore the French. Because they're so, stuck up. Oh my. Oh yeah, of course, it's gonna run reverse. Because this is a steam engine. Yeah, that's cool. What would they use for fuel that would need a script? Oh, if we were to run it in BeamerG? That is actually something that I kind of wanted to do, to go back to the steam engine, but then there was that one cunt, and now revisiting the steam engine is just completely off the board, and I'm not going to do it out of spite for that person. Of the historic Mallard Stream locomotive train. I loved the historic Mallard Steam. Yeah, I think I remember even messing around a little bit in automation, and I made, like, if they made a car, this is what it would look like. And it's like the same color scheme, it's got a single headlight in the middle. A little bit of fun. I'm trying to build a custom tunes for myself in BeamNG. I face-planted into a wall. I'm trying to build custom tunes for myself in BeamNG. I face-planted into a wall as I said the method. Oh, okay. Alright, now I get it. Yeah. So apparently it was preserved. Cool. Looks like it's been either repaired or replaced with little bits, though. I get the feeling that at some point that would have just rusted away, and I don't know by how much, so I don't know whether that's been coated and painted, or... yeah. It looks painted, but it's probably replaced and painted. That is very intricate. This? Yeah, it's... oh, and then it doesn't connect directly to the wheel. Oh, it must have like a gear? Or is it just the perspective we're looking at? No, I think it's the perspective we're looking at. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if... did they run into a wall? That's funny. That's really funny. The first known automotive accident. Crime scene photographer. Here, 1770s. I say the design is original, but not the parts. Yeah. Though, I feel that a lot of it's probably original. Because, as they say here, preserved. When those French thieves came through and stole a bunch of things from, like, what was it, a museum or something? Or an art gallery? I can't remember. Surprised they didn't take this. It's a museum piece that's worth a lot of money, but also a getaway vehicle. Did they ever catch those guys? I don't know. I want to make a new thing. So let's open up. How do I create new object? I want to bring in add create object. File. Edit. Camera. Object. I can't right click here. So I can't get anything that's not in the root directory, huh? Because I want to bring in the prefab. You know, actually it doesn't matter about the prefab. Don't need that at all. What can I do here? Imagine hot wiring that thing. Also a getaway vehicle. Legendary. Why didn't they steal it? Also a getaway vehicle. Legendary. Why didn't they steal it? Yeah. How much is it worth? I don't know. I bet you it's never been sold. Well, it hasn't been sold in a very long time. Pretty sure most horses were faster than that thing. Sure. The thing is horses cost a lot more to run. They also need to be rested. I mean, you'd have to maintain an engine, but yeah, like horses were faster than a lot of original vehicles, but the problem was the amount of rest they need and maintenance and whatnot that horses take was a lot more than even a steam engine like that. But I think the other thing about a steam engine is it's multiple horses worth of power. So, like, the kind of the idea of horsepower. You'd have to, except they were talking about torque. You can carry a lot more. A wild donkey sauce on that? Also, you're not running horses at, like, a running pace all the time. If you did, they would need a lot more rest. There's feed, there's poop, there's a lot to deal with. If you're in, a city trying to travel through, poop is a problem. It's legally considered priceless? I don't know if it's a legal term to call something priceless. I think what you meant there is technically priceless. Now, I want to set up my sim rig so I can drive this. Functionality costs several hundreds of thousands. You could build one for considerably less than that. It's what AI brought? Okay, no, I wouldn't. Forget the money. You steal that, and you have a country hunting you? Maybe, I don't know. So I don't have that great of cardiovascular system. It wasn't unusual for horses to just lay down and pass on when people least expected. Really? No, I didn't know that. Okay, I should be live again. Hopefully